New details tonight about a man who pleaded guilty to arson during the 2020 riots in Minneapolis. Today, he was back in federal court, now alleging he was given too long of a sentence and wrongfully blamed in another man's death. Lou Raguse joins us now with the latest on this kind of complex case. Lou?
Rena, Montez Lee's case is before an appeals court right now. They will determine whether or not he missed a deadline to make his new argument that the arson fire did not cause the death of Oscar Stewart, and that Lee's 10-year prison sentence should be lowered.
In the aftermath of the riots following the murder of George Floyd, a tragic discovery. Nearly 2 months later, authorities found the body of 30-year-old Oscar Stewart Jr. in the rubble of the burned-down Maxit Pond on Lake Street and Cedar Avenue. Montez Lee, now 30 years old, pleaded guilty to arson when he was caught on camera pouring accelerant in lighting the fire.
Montez has taken responsibility for his role in that.
Despite the medical examiner ruling Stewart's death a homicide from smoke and arson fire, Lee was never charged with killing him.
Mr. Lee confessed, pled guilty, cooperated with law enforcement, admitted to setting that building on fire, but of course did not mean to hurt anyone, and in fact took precautions to make sure that he didn't hurt anyone.
But his appeals attorney, Kira Kelly, says Lee's 10-year prison sentence was about twice as long as it otherwise would have been because of an enhancement for Stewart's death. Kelly says Lee's trial attorney had access to evidence that disputed whether Lee was responsible in any way for Stewart's death.
There was evidence that the person who tragically lost his life was not in the building at the time it was set on fire.
Kelly says there's video evidence showing Stewart elsewhere in Minneapolis when Lee started the fire at Maxit Pond, and records proving Stewart was using his phone well after the building started burning. A judge ruled Lee missed the deadline to make those arguments, so his attorney is asking the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals to reconsider on a timing technicality so that Lee can possibly receive a new sentencing hearing. She says Lee wants Stewart's family to get answers as to what happened to their loved one.
At the very least, the fire served the role of obscuring what else happened to the decedent that night.
Now the Court of Appeals will make a ruling whether or not Lee missed a deadline to file what's called a habeas petition. If they rule in his favor, at that point he'll have the chance to make arguments for a new sentencing hearing. The U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment today. Rena?
So if he was potentially not in the building when the fire was started and cause of death says he was, there's a lot happening there, isn't there?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the question, is if he didn't die in that fire, how did he die? And I guess that's a question the family wants to know. One theory would be that he was killed a different way and somebody placed the body where that fire took place in order to hide evidence or something like that. But there's really no answers right now besides that.
I'm sure the family would like that. All right, thank you, Lou.